When my wife invited me to her company's annual event, I thought it was just a night out, a chance to support her and maybe meet the people she spent so much time talking about. I never imagined I was being led into a room full of people who'd laugh at me behind polished smiles. I never expected the woman I had stood by for 8 years, the one I had given everything to, would turn me into the evening's entertainment. But that one night altered the course of my life. It started a few months earlier. Claire had just been promoted to senior marketing manager at a large, respected firm. Her wardrobe changed first, more sleek dresses, high heels, expensive bags. Then her hours stretched longer, her phone buzzed constantly, and her conversations shifted from home to her team at work. She talked about her coworkers like they were her second family. At the time, I didn't think much of it. I was genuinely happy for her. I ran a small auto repair shop, worked long hours, and often came home with grease under my nails. I wasn't a sharp-dressed executive, but I always believed love was about loyalty, not image. One evening, she mentioned her company's gala while scrolling through her phone. "You should come this year," she said casually. "Most people are bringing their partners. It'll be fun." I smiled. "Sounds good." She didn't even look up. "Just try to wear something nice. Maybe leave the work shirts at home." It was a small comment, but it stayed with me. When the night arrived, I made an effort. I rented a suit, got a proper shave, even shined my shoes. I wanted to make her proud. The gala was held in a grand hotel ballroom, and when I walked in, Claire was already surrounded by her colleagues, laughing and sipping wine. As soon as she spotted me, her expression shifted. The laughter paused. She walked over, gave me a brief kiss, and said flatly, "Oh, you came." Like she didn't expect me to show up at all. Her coworkers turned, all tailored suits and flawless makeup. One man, tall and far too familiar with her, leaned in with a smirk. "So, this is the husband we've heard about?" Claire let out a little laugh. "Yes, this is Mark. He's a mechanic," she said slowly, like it was something to apologize for. They chuckled, not unkindly, but enough to sting. I faked a smile and stayed silent. I could take a joke. I told myself not to overthink it. But all evening, she kept making little comments. "Mark doesn't really get this stuff. He's more of a hands-on guy. He's not used to these kinds of events." Each sentence felt like a paper cut, small but sharp. I tried to brush it off, but with every jab, I felt myself shrinking. Then came the moment that shattered everything. Later in the evening, her boss stood up to give a toast, praising the team's accomplishments. Claire stepped up to say a few words. At first, I felt a surge of pride. Seeing her on that stage, confident and commanding, I was proud to call her my wife. But then she said, "I'm grateful my husband could join us tonight. He may not know the first thing about marketing funnels or ROI, but he sure knows how to fix an engine." Laughter erupted. Loud, unfiltered, humiliating. She grinned like she'd just delivered a perfect joke. I sat there frozen, humiliated, while people around me chuckled and clinked glasses. When she stepped down from the podium, I stood up quietly and walked out. But I didn't leave defeated. I left driven. That was the night I made a decision. Never again would I let anyone, not even the person I loved, make me feel small. I buried myself in my work, stopped chasing validation. I took every hour I could spare and invested it into growing my business. I studied, improved my skills, expanded the shop, and hired a small team. Within 6 months, I secured a partnership with a regional car manufacturer. My little garage became an authorized service center for hybrid and electric vehicles. Meanwhile, Claire's life began to unravel. The confidence that once attracted everyone around her turned into arrogance. Rumors began to swirl about her and her boss, the same man who smirked at me that night. Eventually, he was transferred under questionable circumstances, and Claire's reputation suffered in the fallout. One evening, she came home and found me reviewing business proposals at the kitchen table. She looked tired, worn down, a shadow of her former self. "Mark," she whispered, eyes red with tears. "I screwed up." I met her gaze calmly. "You did." I didn't realize what I had. I let people convince me you weren't enough. I shook my head.
No, Claire.
That was your choice. You wanted their approval more than you valued mine. She broke down, pleading for forgiveness, asking for a second chance. But something inside me had already changed. I had spent years trying to be enough for someone who never really saw me. Now I knew better. I forgive you, I said softly. But I can't be with someone who only recognizes my worth once the laughter dies down. A week later, she moved out. When she left, I didn't feel anger or heartbreak. I felt something better, peace. 12 months passed. My business exceeded anything I ever imagined. I was invited to speak at a local business award ceremony. Standing on that stage, the same kind of platform where I'd once been publicly ridiculed, I told my story, not to boast, but to show others what growth looks like. I ended my speech with this. Never let anyone make you feel small for being who you are. One day, the people who mocked you will wish they had your strength. As the applause filled the room, I caught a glimpse of someone in the back.
Claire.
Standing silently, eyes full of tears, clapping slowly. For once, she wasn't laughing.
She was mourning what she lost.
That night, I walked out with my head held high, not as the ridiculed husband from that company gala, but as a man who had risen from the ashes. Because real revenge isn't about tearing someone down, it's about becoming so unshakably strong that they collapse under the weight of watching you succeed.